An approved mental health professional subsequently made an application. Now the thing about it is that was an assessment team as far as I'm concerned, and the approved mental health professional was on the phone to Greg O'Regan when I was being examined, and I was on the phone to him all the time, and the mental health professional gave her name. Now, I never saw her before, and I thought the person that was head of the assessment team was Tim Gorvash. I'd like to know, as a senior social worker who was on the phone to Greg O'Regan at PALS, P-A-L-S, Ealing Hospital, I think, who was that approved mental health professional? And I don't know who it was. I never saw the person before in my life. And why was CRT in there? Considering I was put there to be detained. It said my treating doctor and nursing staff provided reports. Now, I'd like to know who my treating doctor was, because on the court, whatever you want to call it, the tribunal report that came out, it mentioned the people who provided the reports, the written evidence. Dr. Dale's name wasn't there. Did Dr. Dale provide reports to the tribunal? You might need clarification on the last point. I was told I could go 2 days later, and I tried to see Dr. Dale so I could be let go and maybe discharged a week later or whatever to come back. When I tried to see Dr. Dale so I could be let go, allowed to go, the staff wouldn't let me see him. They said I needed an appointment. And I did everything I could to get an appointment, and they wouldn't let me have an appointment to see Dr. Dale, even though he's in the room opposite them. And the only way I got an appointment to see him was another mental health patient had an appointment in that 2 hours that he sees somebody on a Friday, and she gave me her slot when I told her I needed to be there to get released. And I sat down with Nicolawakeham, and Dr. Dale says you're free to go. But I wouldn't have got that free to go if the staff at reception and the nurses and everyone else had their way, because they were making out that I needed an appointment. But when I went in 2 weeks earlier and had to see him on a Friday, you just went in to see him, you waited in a line, and there was no need then to make an appointment. Now all of a sudden there was a need to make an appointment, and if I can't see him, I can't get released. One of the members of staff, the nursing staff from the reception, some guy that is a rugby fan, he's white in Twickenham, and he's overweight or whatever, black hair, took it personally when I didn't watch not a cricket match, a rugby match on a Saturday or something. I don't know what's wrong with the guy, it's mental health, so I don't have to watch a rugby match if I don't want to. But anyhow, he sat in, and he knew what the findings were based on what was said, that I was free to go. And I was asking him for an appointment so I could see Dr. Dale because I was free to go, and he wouldn't let me in. And also, at the tribunal, it would have been helpful if Dr. Dale was there, but Dr. Dale was not at the tribunal. Maybe he doesn't have to be, he just has to be informed, but he wasn't there. Maybe it's useful that Dr. Dale attends those tribunals, so people are told they can go, they don't mess us about, and we can see him, and we can go, or we don't even have to see him. He just comes up to us and tells us we can go on the ward. Okay, this one's easy. It says I was provided with legal representation. The legal representation was corporate solicitors, and the solicitor, whatever he's called, was called Douglas, Douglas Wamborough. Now the problem that I'm having with Douglas Wamborough is when I called corporate solicitors, I said he works for you because I have a letter from them saying they were sending me his lawyer. They said to me, he doesn't. So I said, well, indirectly he does. You know he does. And he says, okay, he does. But before that, they said he was a consultant. Now, if I have a lawyer with me, I have to sign documents to say he's my lawyer. I didn't sign any documents, firstly. And secondly, he's my lawyer. So I needed to see him in the next week so I could do an appeal to the tribunal. Now, the next week he was missing, and I didn't get the tribunal report for another few months. how can I have a lawyer who doesn't inform me of an appeal? Staff in the hospital don't inform me of an appeal. The mental health professional, or whatever the hell she's called, Daisy Day, the mental health act officer, doesn't tell me that I have to appeal within a week. And evidence is provided in the form of medical reports that are read out by Dr. Walsh. And in order to look at what he's reading out, Douglas Wamperer had a copy that he was reading out. Back to Dr. Walsh, they both had a copy. No, Douglas Wamperer had that copy, so I tried to get in contact with him. Right after, over a week after the tribunal, I couldn't contact him. When I phoned corporate solicitors, he wasn't available. Then they said to me they couldn't find their own lawyer, and on the Susie Payne tried to contact him to get a copy of the medical reports, and she wasn't able to get a copy of the medical reports of him. Now, if a lawyer represented me on the day, and I haven't got any written documentation, I didn't sign anything to say he could represent me. Not alone do I have someone who represented me on the day, but he disappeared, and he's supposed to be my lawyer and represent me, and I can't find him, and I need the information that he has on me, for which I put in a Freedom of Information request, and I asked him for my file. He could still be legally represent me for all I know, but he's gone. I'd like for the information he had on him that day to be sent to me, my entire file from Douglas Wamperer at Corporate Solicitors, Fleet Street. At the tribunal, I was told a decision was made that everything down there was ridiculous, scurrilous allegations by the magistrate, and I was free to go. But everything that was decided and agreed on, we left the room and were told they were going to look at the written evidence. Now, Douglas was outside the room with me, and I asked him to go in there with them, and they were making a decision on the written evidence, and all he said was, be careful, don't do anything. Now, why wasn't Douglas in the room challenging them on the written evidence, considering he had it in his hand? And also, what they decided upon informally, that I was free to go, and what everybody agreed on, and we all had a little hug fest. Why was that different to what was written on the actual tribunal report that came out at the end? Because it seems the paperwork and how I was assessed on paper, which was an account of what was decided at the tribunal, was completely different to what happened at the tribunal. I was told I was free to go, and the staff wouldn't let me go, and they wouldn't let me have an appointment to see Dr. Dale, and they ignored